warm welcome to all of you. I am Chaya, working in marketing team of Cygnet.One, and I am your host for today's session. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us, and I assure that the next hour is going to be insightful and worthwhile attending. Over the next hour, we will discuss the topic rewiring tax infrastructure, building your single source of truth. We have put together a power pack panel of speakers, and I am thrilled to introduce them. First, we come up with Neeraj sir, and I guess everyone knows him. We have he is already presenting a lot of presentations in a lot of events, and he is the managing director at Cygnet.One. Mr. Neeraj is a visionary force behind Cygnet.One, bringing over 3 decades of entrepreneurial leadership across industries such as information technology, manufacturing, chemicals, and services. With a passion for innovation and precision, Mr. Neeraj has steered Cygnet from a 7-member team to a global enterprise with 1,000 plus professionals delivering mission critical solutions across 35 countries. Next, we have Mr. Sachin Ponyani, Head of Deep Tech Services for India and South Asia at AWS. With over a decade experience driving digital transformation, Sachin has played instrumental role in helping organizations harnessing deep tech solutions across government, education, healthcare, and enterprise sectors. He is known for leading strategic initiatives and empowering high performing teams to deliver impactful outcomes at scale. We also have Mr. Praveen Bambar, Head of ID at Rich Product Corporation, with a strong foundation in IoT driven manufacturing and supply chain initiative. Mr. Praveen has led large scale modernization program in sales, supply chain, and manufacturing, leveraging AI, IoT, RPA, and cloud technology. And next we have Mr. Kanaya Punchal, Head of Taxation at SMFG India Credit. He brings 25 plus years of leadership in finance and taxation, driving compliance, litigation, and landmark judgment at Tribunal, High Court, and Supreme Court. He is a multi-award winner, including Excellence Award in Taxation and 5 consecutive CEO awards. He is recognized for shaping tax strategy, regulatory engagement, and change management across India AS, GST, and service tax. We also have our subject matter expert, Mr. Ashutosh Trase, VP and Head of Strategy and Transformation at Cygnet.One. And we also have Mr. Anuj Teli, leading as Chief Information and Security Officer at Cygnet.One. So, Mr. Neeraj would be moderating this panel. So, I would like to hand over the stage to Neeraj, sir.
Thank you, Chaya, and thank you all panelists for joining this interactive webinar on tax data warehouse or tax data lakehouse that I call it. But let's go take a step back. And what are the challenges in front of the corporates in India? First and foremost, they need predictability in terms of the amount of litigation they are going to follow. They need predictability and credibility into the data that they have. They need predictability and creditability in terms of the input tax credit that they have taken. And these are the challenges which when I talk to any particular CFO, they kind of have this conversation that we need clarity. We need predictability. We need a clear roadmap by which we are able to understand what our challenges are going to be that. And all these challenges over a period of time has led to blocked working capital. Now, how do you literally remove those blockages and how do you work onto it? So from 8 years onwards, from 8 years when GST started, we have on one side our ERPs that are the kind of the backbone of any organization. for either it may be a global organization or it may be local organization. Some organizations have multiple ERPs, some organizations have a single ERP, some organizations will have multiple invoicing systems in apart from the ERP that they have. So having data extracted out of it, and most of these systems may be ready for a GST kind of implementation, many may not be, and getting the data out of them and processing that particular data into a kind of a compliance solution that we provide was the biggest challenge. So initially, this challenge is, for most of the clients that we have been working with them, we kind of deployed some intermediary solutions like data connectors or data managers or something like multiple ecosystem solutions, which would actually massage and manipulate this particular data and give it into the compliance solution. Now, this has been widely used. But is it possible to kind of put a AI ML workbench on top of it? No, it's a challenge. Can I put a BI tools on top of it? The answer is no. Can I actually run my SOP processes on top of it? The no. If I have taken some specific positions regarding text, can I actually incorporate those positions into this particular data? The answer is no. And this was increasing lots and lots of manual effort for the corporates. And once this manual effort was being done, when the data will go into the compliance solution, again, there will be a multiple rounds of review. And between a 4th of the month to 11th of the month, and starting from 13th or 14th of the month till the 20th or the 21st of the month, the indirect texting is beyond a point occupied into it. And even after doing so much amount of hard work, were they really getting a solution by which it was satisfying their needs? Were they able to present the data to the CFO by which they were able to give a predictability? The answer was no. So this kind of a thought, and since last 8 years, we have always been saying that we need a multiple intermediary layer in between, which is capable, which can actually help into this type of a solution and how it can work out. So we'll move to the panel discussion. We'll discuss this topic out. I just wanted to set the context about it. And once we have discussed it into the panel, then we will go back into the kind of a solutioning, and Ashutosh will walk us through the solution. So these are the kind of steps that will take it. And I will start very clearly with Kadaya, the first question. Being a functional expert, being a text manager, how much of a pain is it for you to really prepare the text data? I know it has been a journey. It has been a long journey in terms of reaching the stage that is there. And changing the ERP in between this particular cycle, how do you really see the pain and the challenges that are there in terms of preparing the data for a compliance solution to take it and help you file your GST returns?
Yeah, let me thank you first of all for giving opportunity to speak over here. And coming to the specific question, the real challenge, I would say, over a period of 8 years, when we started journey, it was a simple direct upload on the GSTN portal. Now achieving a level of using at least not AI but ML at least to create multi-level integration of multiple ERP data at one single truth. That's a big journey from overall perspective. And the major challenges, I would say, is finding out the real problem statements within the data, looking into what has gone wrong, because none of the systems are foolproof. And filing return is again a bigger challenge, having correct data. Fixing bugs and ensuring correct data goes has been the major challenge. And then ensuring at the time of assessment, the same bugs and ensuring the correct submission goes. Definitely you would have taken corrective step at the time of filing return. But explaining them with the officers again is a major challenge. So, and it's a big journey.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
And the second challenge comes in that whatever corrective steps you've taken into your solution or into the compliance solution, taking that back into ERP and kind of reconciling it with your financial statements That is a second challenge which comes in. So this is not only a one-way cycle, but it is a two-way cycle where the challenges come in both way. So have you been facing the challenges into the both directions or only a single one?
Ideally, it's on the both the sides. The second side is having secondary source of truth, not universal single source of truth. The moment you do corrective steps in your returns, you need to maintain a separate truth in your separate database for doing all subsequent activity vis-a-vis government. Errors, bugs remain. You have to take positions against those, whether take a hit in your PNL account, go ahead, or do the corrections and manage with the corrective steps. But again, you can't change the historical data. Maximum you pass rectification entries, you pass reclass entries, but if you have to re-extract the truth, it remains the same erroneous data at first place. And your correct truth is sitting in your Excel files, which ultimately gets used for the purpose of assessment.
Thank you so much, Kanaya. Praveen, I'll come next to you. There's being a global organization and having a very clearly global ERP and getting data for a local compliance filing. How big or how easy the challenge was? If you can kind of throw some light onto it, that will be helpful for the audience.
Sure, Niraj. And thanks for the opportunity and inviting me to this panel discussion. Yes, we are Riches, and at Riches, we are a global company and we are following all the global processes. And and in such environment, you always have a challenge into the system implementing the localization needs, the local needs. And one such big need was the tax logic of the India. And we all know, and GST was introduced, there were a couple of challenges accommodating these challenges. For example, the compliance challenges like having e-way bill generated, e-invoice, which was actually mandated by CBSC, and then input GST reconciliation. Okay, so these were the profound challenges we had in front of us. Fortunately, we came across the Cygnet solution, and we implemented the DSC solution from the Cygnet. Cygnet was a middleware for us, created invoice in SAP, posted to Cygnet, which further helped us to post it on a government portal and pulling back with iron in e-way or SAP, and then again posting it to the DSC tool of the Cygnet. It really is our life actually. These two solutions from Cygnet actually, which we implemented, um, reduced our need of any customization or any code as such into the ERP, and we were able to meet our local need in our global environment. So that was an excellent journey with Cygnet. And thanks.
Praveen, as an IT professional, did you come across this question that why I am being so much bothered into a taxation solution and why I am not being able to focus on my infra challenges? Why this is so much of a botheration into it? Or you are kind of keen to deep dive into what the taxation challenges and help the business out?
No. Certainly, infra challenges is something IT always deal with their own, but it's a business challenge. The compliance challenge. We are in the food industry, okay, and we have big network of the distributors into this, and this is certainly is not an optional thing that the taxation compliance is certainly something which have to mandatorily fulfill. And it was an interesting thing to discuss with business on this challenge, help out business on the automation, meet the compliance, and bring in the efficiency in the business specifically. So the GST, input GST reconciliation, for that also we come up with the, integrating the purchase register so that we are having accurate claims for our input GST in place. So it was really interesting, and I have never had this question. In fact, I enjoy that being involved in the addressing this challenge for the business.
Thank you so much, Rohit. Ashok, coming to you, is that being a technologist and being a strategy expert, did you not feel that from a distance that what we were doing or the way the industry was adopting this technology, there was a better way of doing it and maybe a kind of an intermediary layer between the compliance layer and the ERP would have been a better solution to do that? Obviously, the text evolved over a period of time. But don't you think that in the hindsight, if this type of implementation was thought through or done at the first level, it could have made life much more simpler for the people? Your thoughts around it?
Yeah. Thanks, sir, for asking the question. So basically, I will look at it as, as organization or enterprises, they are into hurry of adopting new technology. So basically, in that process, sometimes they ignore the base problem in terms of data quality and governance. So who owns the data quality? I mean, if you ask me right now for the common data like metadata management, etc., none of the department wants to, take the ownership of data. So unless and until, addressing those basic problem in terms of data quality and governance, metadata management, and building the layer that you are talking about in between before you actually talk about, adopting the new technology. Nowadays, if I speak to the customers are in a hurry in terms of, I want to adopt the data mesh. I want to adopt the data fabric. But where is your data? Your data still lies into Excel. Like Sir said, the data is lying into disparate data sources. There are some customers who are still struggling whether I should, whether I need a data mart, whether I need a data fabric or data mesh. So it's more of, pressure from, the executive management in terms of adopting AI ML, building the, better visualization dashboard. So in that hurry, there are some basic problems or basic steps that the customers need to take. One is like data governance and quality. Second, I would say data security and compliance. Third, I would say the infrastructure and scalability. When I talk about infrastructure, scalability is the use of right technology. Which technology is right? Where is there any performance optimization required? Is my technology selected? Is it scalable? Then probably the next one is, do we have the right skills to go for AWS Glue or let's say Azure Open APIs? Do we have the right skills internally to adopt this technology? So skills, and do we have the right budget? Because right now, people have the budget to do a POC, then probably, by the time the POC doesn't go into the production. So building that intermediate layer and solving the basic problems in terms of data, because we know that it's garbage in and garbage out. We need to have that data. Do we have a data lineage? Right now, if I ask about anybody about the data lineage, we talk about the AI/ML model is giving me a less risk profile or less risk percentile. But are you able to track that, which data source is used to train that model? The answer is people struggle nowadays. So building that intermediate layer who gives me all this kind of features and functionality is very critical.
Thank you, Ashu. Thanks a lot for elaborating it for us. Sachin, coming to you. So this was an industry problem which we were seeing from last 8 years. But as the GST system evolved in piecemeal, we were not sure whether an actual data warehouse or a data lakehouse in between built into it would have been beneficial to it. Now, when I talk to the CFOs, and I'm saying this is coming from the CFO, not from the IT heads or not from the tax managers, but the CFO wants that, please give us a solution around it, because there is no way we can live with this problem statement. I cannot have so much amount of unpredictability into my data reporting. Now, coming to that, our partnership with AWS, and just for the audience, we had our own data center. We were on our own premises. We had a data center where we had the data. And post-COVID time, getting new hardware was a major challenge. So we took a decision to move completely onto cloud and onto the AWS platform. But this has opened up so much more avenues for us. So it's not just hosting our compliance tool around it, but providing our clients or our customers much more solutions around it. So how do we use inherent solutions and availability of the different tools and systems on AWS, which could help in creating such data marts or a data mesh or a data fabric or a data warehouse what we call it. If you can throw some light around it, that would be very helpful for the audience.
Sure. Neil, thanks for asking this. So I'll just start from actually what all three people in their domain expertise said. So if you see, Kanaya brought up like there was a challenge of bringing ERP data together. Then Praveen also said that reconciliation challenge. You also mentioned about reconciliation challenge, and Ashutosh said the quality. So if you see, this is the pure ask from business. This is the business ask. And everyone actually is landing down onto the same case that you have got multiple systems. You have got two-way challenge that data should come from those transactional systems, ERPs, to your reporting tax submission. So certainly a middle tier in between is required, which Ashutosh was also saying. So without that, you cannot simply go to, you can't expect that transactional system will be engaged in your reporting and tax filing every time. So you have to have a central layer. Now, there are different ways. Industry has been evolving over a period of time. So we coined the term data lake, where we say that, okay, bring the data together at a central place. But now the way data is growing and the way your problem actually is growing, because you are getting more data, not just structured, but the unstructured. And now I'm not touching on the GenAI yet. That also adds on to more ask from your users, from your functional leaders, from your end users as well. So all things, you have to have a central platform where it comes together, which handles both structured and unstructured. But with data growing, is the classical data lake solving that problem? No, because you know that there are data warehouses solving better structured data problem. But now, as we speak here, systems have grown to a level where the term as we use is called lake house. That's the data lake plus data warehouse coming together, where you have super powerhouse of data warehouse and the unstructured data storage capability and processing capability coming from the data lake. So that kind of setup is required. Now, just think that what kind of reconciliation. Now, I'll take that reconciliation problem a little deeper. One part is that, okay, you have submitted the return, or you have got so you have submitted some GST records and you have got those GST documents back and you're trying to compile. But have you ever thought on the ground, the challenge is you have a structured ERP, very structured, automatically generated document number, but maybe your vendor or maybe your customer does not have that very much structure and the typing error is happening. You can't avoid that. I mean, you can't control somebody. Now, do you think that the classical software systems can handle this reconciliation? If I'm using a document number where instead of typing 0, I just by mistake type O. Now you need something more intelligent. That's where AWS, as we say, like certainly those scale comes in, but then you need machine learning based comparisons, machine learning based reconciliation, and taking it to the next level, probably some GenAI level data processing as well. So that's where the central layer and the processing layer on top of is the key, which actually is helping out all functional leaders there.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sachin. And now data ingestion into this system is also a major challenge. So how AWS solutions really help in terms of getting this structured and unstructured data into a maybe data lake house and actually help to process it at a much faster pace and in a much speedier way into it. So if you can throw some light onto it, that also would be helpful.
Thanks. So see, this is where also I'll say technology is evolving. So you use the word ingestion. We all and in any data lake warehouse, central platform, ingestion has to happen. For years together, we have had multiple ingestion services where if you are bringing data from say some ERPs, some APIs, some structured data from databases, there are services which can bring the data. There are ETL services which can help you. But now in that area also technology has evolved. Now when you are building your data lake, and you probably would have heard the term ETL very often. But now my question is, when everybody in every business wants that transactional data should land into the analytics system or this reporting system, then should ETL be there? Now, ETL is a very important component. It should be there. It should be there if it is required. So what AWS has done is AWS has got very well integration between the transactional databases and the data warehouse, data lake, where as soon as you write it, so this is what we call as zero-ETL feature. That means when the data is written into the transactional database, it may be a RDBMS, it may be NoSQL database, DynamoDB or Aurora RDBMS as we are saying, data is automatically transferred to the central, you call it Lakehouse. Whatever formation you're trying to make, data automatically goes there. So you can remove that ETL piece and it happens automatically. So what I'm sharing is the latest one. And then one more phase, some people say that, no, we do not want this formation depending on the business requirement. Then now the systems are so integrated that when you are in your lake house, in the Redshift data warehouse, or you're using, say, some query on your S3 data lake, you can make query not just into the warehouse, but you can also make queries directly into your transactional database as well. So it might happen that for your own policy, your own decision, you decided no, data has not been moved to the warehouse, but you still want that for some 1 or 2 reports, you can query that from the transactional database itself. So that tight integration is available now. So ETL integration of so this is the new way of integration, and the word that we use for it is the zero ETL, and the second is the federated query. That means warehouse making query to all transactional databases. So this actually brings the team cost and the effort very down, very low.
Thank you so much, Sachin. This becomes a little bit technical in nature for the overall audience, but everybody has started talking in this language. So it is interesting for everybody to know, because then they will go and throw these questions to their IT and they will start getting solutions around it. So coming to you, Anuj, and being security your paramount expertise, the major challenge when I talk to any client is how much my data will be secure and how I can protect that, and whether this particular data is going to be really secure for me, or it will go into a AWS cloud and it is kind of go into public cloud and anybody will have access to data, or AI will start using it. So what is the type of data security which is being deployed onto the solutions that could be helpful on it?
Perfect. Thanks for the question, sir. Okay, when it comes to security, it is always about the basics that you have implemented as part of the application or the system that you have created, right? It is not to consider the security would always be there, but you would have to have those specific right steps and right controls placed at each and every level. When it comes to AWS as a cloud, it does not allow the system to be completely exposed unless you have configured it like that, but it always restricts it to the control and the purpose that the data needs to be used. And that is all completely configurable. So, and even what we do as part of our organization and how we are utilizing AWS is a complete air gap system where the data goes in, it stays over there till the time you are moving it out on with a particular purpose to another system. Till then, there is no access, no additional activities performed on that, ensuring the confidentiality and availability as well as integrity stays with that data at that particular system. So the systems are always air gapped till the time you actually perform any activity to do otherwise.
Anuj, a very frank question. When you were managing the on-prem data center and post you moved on to AWS cloud, have you got few more holidays for you than what you were getting earlier? And sleepless nights?
Yes, it has become very, very streamlined after we have decided to move or go on to a cloud solution. Multiple things. You have the comfort and comfort of the technology and the services that are being provided by the cloud. The process becomes completely transparent. There are no loopholes or any black spots or blind spots onto the system. And the performance of any activities that you need to do becomes very easy. It is all correlated, identified easily, and the problems can be resolved within minutes, if not seconds, in many of the cases.
So I think more holidays for you.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Coming back to you, Kanaya. So if you are allowed to be a dreamer as a tax professional, and if you are allowed to kind of actually think through whatever you want to dream, what you want to dream, what would be the ideal tax solution would be by which you don't have to spend sleepless nights during the compliance day, or you don't have to kind of worry about annual reports, or you don't have to worry about the notices, or you don't have to worry about the state level balance sheets? What is the type of support you will require from IT or the technology service providers that you would want to do it? Just be open to dream and kind of share what you would like to have.
Yeah, if you're asking dream, basically, few years back, I had attended blockchain when it was the first word around, which talked about complete ledgers starting from every places. So I would, if I would have to have a dream, I would say let government come out with some similar solutions where every data decentralization happens and its universal truth gets created. Information automatically it's available. People raise their invoices on the government solutions. I just validate with my data, sign off automatically when it gets linked with the government portal as well as with my bank. I just approve payment. Contract is starting from creation of contract till payment of tax, including assessment, happens seamlessly. I, as a user, have to just validate, affirm, yes, I accept this transaction, proceed with the payment. Even government would say, yes, assessment is also done.
One thing I will do sure is pass it on this information to GST and office bearers. So that is something I can definitely help you to do it. But what
Correct.
government will do is not in our hands. So what is
Correct.
in your hand is what your organization will do.
Right.
So now
Exactly.
dream about your organization and let us know what and how your dream solution would be.
Okay. So in fact, I would say we are already in touch with multiple front with Cygnet on those brands. And we have been creating our own data warehouse. Tax, we already have data lake in our systems. Earlier we had multiple systems, but now with data lake coming in, all our systems, full data is in lake. Now we are in the process of creating our own data tax warehouse, or basically data tax data mart, whatever terminology. I'm not the tax technical expert, but we are trying to create that. Using the Cygnet, we have already achieved, at least on the credit side, we have informations at the click of button starting from 2017 till date. Every month we refresh data, all the credit information is available. Now we are trying to reach the similar scenario for the output side. Once both that's integrated, the third stage will come the overall integration of the assessment data. That means, again, now with experience of 3 or 4 year assessment, we know what government officials look into, what kind of reports they need. So creating those dashboards readily available, updating real time, at least to start with monthly filing, and then once, since data lake is there, your visualization modules are already available, you can refresh your data on daily basis, and that are available at a click of button. So that would be the my dream. That means information starting from my source system till my assessment stage information is that available at one place, and informations are available in straight dashboards. I should be able to just download those reports. Whoever is asking with various dimension, I should be able to present it. If it is a management, my CFO dashboard. If it is government, exception reports, my compliances, written reports. Ultimately, it's the same data with various dimensions, with year or with various perspective, is the same information being presented, being available at one place, rather than relying on Excel files or relying on multiple systems or multiple teams laptop. That would be as a dream statement, I would say. And additionally,
Yeah, please carry on.
yeah. And now since IMS also coming in, so, so what was talking about was from the my perspective or a company perspective. But with IMS coming in now, with Cygnet, I would even like to see the stages starting from supplier raising invoice till I take it in my 3B, or I raise an invoice and my customer is taking in that 3B. That journey is also clearly visible. And with various returns, those data ultimately travels in various tables in the various returns at various point in time. So it's a running journey. It has various stages. But if I want to see, I should be able to see that journey also for a voucher as well as at a point in time. So that's a different new perspective which is relevant.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So, Sachin, over to you. Is that how does actually AWS technology help build such solutions? And how can we use the AI capabilities onto the AWS side? So, QuickSight, Q, like multiple different solutions are there. How does it really help in terms of building these solutions, which would be more fruitful for the tax professionals in nature and in a kind of a larger role for the financial professionals?
So I take this dream of Kanaya to just one next level, where Kanaya said that he wants to present it to somebody as early as possible, whoever is asking for. I'll say that why not to make a system which actually is self-service. Whoever wants can just write a prompt, okay, summarize me last month's GST or 3B returns, or some kind of notification coming, okay, if you delay your GST return for 3 days, then maybe it will be a penalty of say 10,000. Just example. So those kind of analysis which actually start happening automatically on the systems. More or less, system starts becoming self-serving. Now, the baseline that we were talking about, lake house, the data lake, this is all ready. Eventually, system has to work on that. Now, the point is, can we ask questions to that data? Now, there are multiple ways. One is like people want to watch the dashboards, GST compliance, the return filing, the summary status, all those things. So, and whatever you do, eventually you cannot go and create 50 dashboards. And even if you create, people may not watch, or they will be struggling with chart to look at. So why not to bring it in a scenario? That's where you used the service name Amazon QuickSight, which is a classical BI tool, but with the NLP capabilities or the GenAI capabilities built in. Just write a prompt, it will create the dashboard for you or the chart for you, and it starts creating the personalized one. But take it to the next level. Now you might also want to. So QuickSight is doing one thing. What if we have one more interface where it simply says that summarize my last 3 months GST or 3B filing for me. Now, if you just simply say, it goes, tries to find out what has been submitted, what were the compliances, what were the issues, reconciliation, so many things that you have done already. It gives you a summary basically. And it also suggests you next steps, some caveats, some guidance comes in. So Q Business is one more service that can help out there. So point is, when the baseline or the standard data lake is set, now why can't we just think when we can that people start talking to that data and get their information done? So probably taking Kanaya's dream to just one level up.
Praveen, you will have to be the guinea pig for us to help implement this in Rich. So we'll come back to you to take your support to do that.
Certainly, I would love to be part of an experimentation because I know it ultimately benefit us as an user.
Yes, so thank you so much. Now, Anuj, one last security question for you, and then kind of putting it, I'll open the stage for Ashu to actually walk us through the type of solutions that we are currently building. So, Anuj, one particular thing is, very honestly, in building all these systems, do you really feel that with the type of AI that we are going to deploy, will our data be secured? And I'm again repeating that question, and I want a candid answer from you, that how do you really build that security layer into the system?
The security layer nowadays is all about the anonymity that you are able to bring into the data. It is not the traditional way where you are able to block all the things and get the security done, because if you're not able to connect it to the right systems, not to the right LLMs, you won't be able to get the output that is required, right? Having said that, when it comes to a security professional, it is always important to protect the correct data, let's say the PII data or anything that is confidential to the organization, and still utilize the technology that is available there. So what anonymization, what pseudonymization you can perform to the data and then send it to those type of models, identify and ensure that it is not leaking any of these critical data is very important. And that is the place where the actual controls need to be kept, rather than blocking everything and not allowing that data to go out.
Thank you so much, Anuj. But we'll be eating your head much more onto these aspects over the coming period. So yeah, Ashu, I'll kind of give the stage to you, and if Chaya, you can share the presentation and give rights to Ashu. He can walk us through the types of strategized solutions that he has been thinking and kind of guiding and helping the customers to build onto it. And we are building such solutions for one of the largest FMCG client over here, one of the largest hotel chains in India. We are building it for one of the largest marketplace in India. So these are the kind of conversations we are having. And I'll ask Ashu to guide us and walk us through the same solution. So over to you, Ashu. Thank you so much, Sachin. Thank you so much, Praveen. And thank you so much, Kanaya and Anuj, for your candid views in terms of taxations, data, and security aspects that we want. So over to you, Ashu.
So, I'll talk about, how do we, categorize the different solutions, asset, accelerators, and architecture. So what we call it as a Cygnet.One Elixir, it is a tax assurance fabric. So when I say tax assurance fabric, it's more than a framework. I'll say I'll say that it's a continuum of architecture and solutions related to tax assurance. And when I say architecture and solution, it is not only the solutions or the building blocks that we have built over the past 2 decades, but it is also include the solution from our partners, our technology solution providers, or even from our customers. So we have incorporated those into the Elixir. So basically, what does it provide? It actually provides a structured way to manage and leverage this solution and architecture around tax assurance. So it provides, or it actually categorizes the different architecture and solution into different layers so that we are able to, solve the business problem. So I'll say it's kind of a repository of different building blocks, architecture, and solution. In addition to that, it also provides me different policies, the standard practices, or the guidelines and guardrails to architecture or governance, or to basically govern how we actually create the tax assurance asset, how we actually modify it, and how we deliver it to the customer. So basically, the three key advantages, if I may talk about, is increased efficiency. It is definitely an improved reusability and consistency across the solutions that we deliver to our tax customer, and it is a reduced redundancy. So if I start, it's a continuum. So if I start at the bottom, if you see, the bottommost layer is the foundational services. So over a period of 2 decades, Cygnet has been delivering services across the globe, and these services we have bucketed into the 5 buckets, I'll say. The buckets being the digital engineering, managed IT and security, GenAI data analytics, cloud and enterprise platform, and quality engineering. So this becomes my first layer of a fabric. And using these services over the last 2 decades, what we have built is a common building blocks. And this becomes my second layer of my continuum. So when I say common building blocks, is basically, I'll take an example that we have frameworks that Neeraj sir was talking about, a data converter utility. We have a microservices architecture framework. So whatever customers, whoever customer wants to implement, we can actually go to the second layer of my continuum and bring those, AML workbench or digital signing solution or a rules engine as a common building block, and can increase the productivity and deliver the solution faster, better, and cheaper. If I go up into the continuum, my third layer will be the industry use cases. So using the common building blocks of my previous layer and our taxation expertise and experience over the last 1 decade, what we have created is a industry specific solutions or the building blocks. So if I take it ahead, so in terms of from second layer to third layer, we have a tax system modernization framework, very specific to tax. We have a tax rule engine. We have a digital tax infrastructure, which talks about, case management engine. It talks about the risk engine specific to tax. So it actually helps us to, categorize to a particular geo or a particular industry specific. Since we are talking about tax today, we're talking about a tax assurance solution. And finally, the last layer is nothing but the organization specific. So using the previous all layers, they use this organization-specific layer to deliver the business solutions to our customers, which is again the secured way and in the governed way. So that's all about the continuum that we have in our Elixir. And now the best part of this continuum is it's a bi-directional. Right now, I have navigated this continuum from bottom to top. So that is more a generic architecture and solution for tax assurance to a very specific architecture and solution. But we can also navigate this continuum from top to bottom. When I say top to bottom, if let's say I delivered some particular some solution to solve a business critical problem to a particular customer, then if I feel that this particular solution can be reused or it can be helpful for other customers in the same industry, or it may be we can generalize it across the geography, then probably we take that top to bottom approach. Then we take that particular organization specific solution and they bring it down all together to the common building blocks. So that actually helped us to deliver different solution in the tax domain, be it a tax compliance solution, be it a tax transformation. When I say tax transformation, it's automating the tax processes around the taxation, be it a migrate and modernize the system that you use around in and around the taxation in terms of peripheral, be it getting the tax data into the data lake, or be it generating insight from that data. So all those solution is very easy and very structured way to deliver this taxation related solution using this taxation fabric.
Thank you, Ashu. It's a complex topic, but you made it sound a little bit simpler, but very helpful. Yeah.
So out of these different solution, since today's webinar is around data, I would like to walk you through a couple of data use cases that we have delivered using this fabric. So the first use case is our own platform that we have started using MS SQL on premises, and probably over the journey we hit the cost roadblock and probably the licensing issues with MS SQL, and probably that was the turning point. We thought of moving our entire customer data, which is around 7 TB plus database data, 450 plus databases of 1,300 plus subscriber into PostgreSQL. Obviously, in addition to the cost, there were multiple other factors that we have considered when we switched to SQL from SQL Server to PostgreSQL, like cross-platform compatibility, easy to customize the PostgreSQL, how community and the entire ecosystem PostgreSQL gives me. Then probably what are the different features and advanced features that PostgreSQL offers. How data integrity emphasis was given more in PostgreSQL as compared to MS SQL. So these were some of the factors which helped us to take a decision to move from MS SQL Server to PostgreSQL. And as a part of cloud adoption, which Anuj talked about, we migrated our on-premise MS SQL Server to PostgreSQL. Some of the tools, and as I said, this fabric that I talked about, the Elixir, helped us to with number of frameworks, which includes our own homegrown data converter utility. We have used AWS data migration services. We have used AWS schema transfer HCT services. We have used Babelfish of AWS. We have used PG Loader. So it's a combination of open source tools plus AWS tools plus Cygnet.One IP. The combination of these tools help us to migrate this huge data from MS SQL to PostgreSQL with only a downtime of 15 minutes, I'll say, and with migrating this many users, and this is the size of data that we have aggregated.
Thank you so much, Ashu. And I think I have I would say a good habit or a bad habit, but to try and close the webinars always maybe 5-10 minutes earlier, so that people get a break time between their two meetings and they get at least a chance to grab a cup of coffee or something. So thank you so much, all the panelists, for your time. And thank you so much, Cygnet team. And thank you, Ashu, for walking us through the fabric and the Elixir model that we have. So anybody, you can write to us for any questions that you have, or you can write to us if you really want to see this type of data warehouse working in action, so we can help you around it. And thanks, team. Thanks a lot for your support, and hoping to see you soon for the further webinars.
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Panelists. And if you have any queries, please write to us at inquiry@Cygnet.One.